You are making people want to kill me. It's not just a tabloid. It's not just some story. You are making me scared.
Peaceful. He's willing to give everything away. Okay, he was willing to work. You terrorize him with, oh, you need to pay for the the cartridge. He paid it. You ask him for other things. He did it. Now he left because he wants peace.
If you want to be private, go back to America and live privately. It's pretty straightforward.
But I hope that helps you understand what it had come to. That I would step my family back.
Go back to America.
From all I have ever known. To take a step forward into what I hope can be a more peaceful life.
He wants peaceful life. He literally said. But you're sending people at their home in Canada to terrorize them. This is not fair. Okay? This is the word terrorize mean. Because English is not my language. Because the West they love to label these people this type of things. When they're trying to defend themselves, you could look at it at different perspective. Through Google, this is what terrorize mean. Create.
No, we can rely on you for being a great guy. So what an incredible friend you were to Meghan Markle is. Have you guys hung out at all since then?
No, we haven't spoken. She just wrote me a very nice thank you letter and I framed it, and that was very nice of her to do. She just appreciated that I was honest, but it's so funny that we live in a time where everyone's like, it's such a big deal. I just did the right thing.
Right.
You know, it's okay to feel like that should be the norm and the status quo, but it's like, whoa, it's so crazy. He told the truth. I think we should all be a little more honest.
Well, thank you for doing the right thing.
Maintain. Maintain.
I was called by the Sun newspaper. If you don't know what the Sun is,
that's all you need to know.
And they called me about a month ago to ask if I'd write about how Meghan was like Wallace and how Meghan was going to destroy the royal family.
Maintain.
What do you think about destroying the royal family?
How Meghan was going to destroy the royal family.
What do you think about destroying the royal family?
Like Wallace and how Meghan was going to destroy the royal family, and the arguments between Meghan and Kate, and I said, I'm really sorry, I'm just not privy to all of this. I don't think I could do it. And the commissioning editor was really twisting my arm to write this article and say, but you could say, couldn't you, that X happened, and you could say that she's fired all her staff, and you could say that Kate has said this. And I said, well, I'm really sorry, I don't know that, I can't do it. And this conversation went on for about half an hour, and I didn't write the article, but it just gives you an insight into how this whole thing is being, you know, the flames are being fanned by the media.
A state of extreme fear.
It's not just a tabloid.
A state of extreme fear.
It's not just some story. You are making me scared.
A state of extreme fear.
Right? And like that night, to be up and down in the middle of the night, looking down my hallway like, are we safe? Are the doors locked?
A state of extreme fear.
Is security on? Is everything? That's real. Are my babies safe?
A state of extreme fear.
And you've created it for what?
Do you see any scenario by which Harry and Meghan overshadow Kate and William?
Yes, I do.
And you've created it for what?
The Queen was and always will be the most popular royal, but second to that was Harry.
For what?
It wasn't William and Kate. It was not William and Kate.
For what?
And when Harry and Meghan became such a popular couple.
For what?
Well, if we can give you the odd smile here and there, that's important. So, you know.
And when Harry and Meghan became such a popular couple.
For what?
Asked me, how many days do you offer this service? And I said 2 days a week. And her straight question was, why not 7 days, Zahira? And I said, funding. So she goes, we can do a cookbook.
I know the fact that she'll be really unbelievably good at the job part of it as well. It's obviously a huge relief to me because she'll be able to deal with everything else that comes with it.
For what?
But no, you know, we're a fantastic team. We know we are.
Because you're bored or because...
Well, if we can give you the odd smile here and there, that's important, so, you know.
And distress in someone.
And you've created it for what?
Filled with terror. This is what they're doing to Harry and Meghan. They are terrorizing them. So the thing that Harry and Meghan are going through...
Right? And like that night, to be up and down in the middle of the night, looking down my hallway like, are we safe? Are the doors locked? Is security on? Is everything... That's real.
Is a form of terrorism. So these people need to be labeled exactly what they are doing.
And used fake documents to obtain the interview with my mother. Made lurid and false claims about the royal family.
I walk into the house and stick my hand out to Camilla for the first time. And I said, Camilla, I'd love to have a word with you if possible.
He says that your husband renewed his relationship with Mrs. Camilla Parker Bowles. Were you aware of that?
Yes, I was. But I wasn't in a position to do anything about it.
But if Diana had hoped to get support from the Queen, she was sorely disappointed. According to the princess, the Queen turned a cold shoulder to her appeal for help.
Yes, I was. But I wasn't in a position to do anything about it.
The princess described an emotional scene inside the walls of Buckingham Palace.
And I was sobbing, and I said, what do I do? I'm coming to you, what do I do? And she said, I don't know what you should do. The job was hopeless. And that was it. That was help. Yes, I was. But I wasn't in a position to do anything about it.
Made lurid and false claims about the royal family.
And she got really uncomfortable, put her head down. She said, oh yes, right. And I said to the two men, okay boys, I'll just have a quick word with Camilla. And I'll be up in a minute. And they shot upstairs like chickens with their heads. And I could feel upstairs all hell breaking loose. What was she going to do?
What evidence did you have that their relationship was continuing even though you were married?
A woman's instinct is a very good one. So I said, Camilla, let's sit down. So we sat down. And I was terrified of her. And I said, Camilla, I'd just like you to know that I know exactly what's going on. And she said, I don't know what you're talking about. Well, I obviously had knowledge of it.
From staff?
Well, from people who minded and cared about our marriage, yes.
What effect did that have on you?
Pretty devastating. And I said, I know what's going on between you and Charles, and I just want you to know that. And she said to me, very interesting, she said to me, you've got everything you've ever wanted. All the men in the world fall in love with you. A husband who loves someone else, yes. It was already difficult, but it became increasingly difficult. And she said to me, very interesting, she said to me, you've got everything you've ever wanted. All the men in the world fall in love with you.
And used fake documents to obtain the interview with my mother. Made lurid and false claims about the royal family.
Do you think Mrs. Parker Bowles was a factor in the breakdown of your marriage?
Well, there were three of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded.
The most damaging charge that is made in relation to your marriage is that you were, because of your relationship with Camilla Parker Bowles, from the beginning, persistently unfaithful to your wife and thus caused the breakdown. What is your response to that persistent criticism?
Well, there were three of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded.
I mean, all I could say is that I mean, there is no truth in so much of this.
Made lurid and false claims about the royal family.
Speculation. And Mrs. Parker Bowles is a great friend of mine. I have a large number of friends I'm terribly lucky to have.
Well, there were three of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded.
So many friends who I think are wonderful.
Well, people were, when I say people, I mean friends on my husband's side were indicating that I was, again, unstable.
And make the whole difference to my life, which would become intolerable otherwise.
Which played on her fears and fueled paranoia. displayed woeful incompetence when investigating complaints.
You've got two beautiful children, what more would you want? And I didn't believe what she said anyway. So I said, I want my husband. And she said, well, and she looked down the whole time. I said to Camilla, I'm sorry I'm in the way. I obviously am in the way. And it must be hell for both of you. But I didn't know what's going on, don't you know? In the car on the way back, my husband was over me like a bad rash. I cried like I've never cried before.
Which played on her fears and fueled paranoia.
And you've created it for what?
Which played on her fears and fueled paranoia.
I cried like I've never cried before.
Looking down my hallway like,
I cried like I've never cried before.
Which played on her fears and fueled paranoia.
are we safe? Are the doors locked?
I cried like I've never cried before.
Is security on? Is everything?
Which played on her fears and fueled paranoia.
That's real.
It was anger. It was 7 years of pent-up anger coming out. Cried. I didn't sleep that night. And the next morning I woke up.
Displayed woeful incompetence when investigating complaints and concerns about the programme, and were evasive in their reporting to the media and covered up what they knew from their internal investigation. It is my view that the deceitful way the interview was obtained substantially influenced what my mother said.
What effect did that have on you?
Pretty devastating. Rampant bulimia, if you can have rampant bulimia, and just a feeling of being no good at anything and being useless and hopeless and failed in every direction. Wow.
In a practical sense, how did it become difficult?
Well, people were, when I say people, I mean friends on my husband's side were indicating that I was, again, unstable.
Ken had to put it in, and then when Ken had put it in, Charles grabbed him by the throat. Well, they said, you do understand, Ken, I just have to let this out.
When I say people, I mean friends on my husband's side were indicating that I was, again, unstable. When I say people, I mean friends on my husband's side were indicating that I was, again, unstable.
A great friend of mine. I have a large number of friends. I'm terribly lucky to have so many friends who I think are wonderful and make the whole difference to my life, which would become intolerable otherwise.
Which played on her fears and fueled paranoia.
Friends on my husband's side were indicating that I was, again, unstable, sick, and should be put in a home of some sort in order to get better. I was almost an embarrassment.
Do you think he really thought that?
And I have a large number of friends I'm terribly lucky to have make the whole difference to my life, which would become intolerable otherwise.
Well, there's no better way to dismantle a personality than to isolate it.
So you were isolated?
Mm-hmm. Very much so.
Alright, so let's go back to the tweet. Where did it start? Oh, so perfect.